Yeah, everybody, please move with me. Where is the stream? I'm sure people have jumped in here. They got another notification. 33 waiting. I don't even know how to get into this thing. Yep, now you're on the right channel. Link rather. I'm not sure what's going on with the link that I've put up originally, but I can't access it. Thokozani bogogo nabomkhulu. Welcome to my live. Did you guys all see 0404 or was I the only one? Thokozani? Welcome to my live. Let me sit back. There we go. Yo, the screen is filled with comments already. I worried when I wasn't getting the notification. Thokozani. Woohoo. We're going live. I'd like to ask about a dream because it bothers me. Hang on. This is my live. Thokozani, good people. And I think everyone is wondering, so can you guys please do me a favor and help me share this live? Because I know a lot of you guys were waiting on the other one, so it gave you a different notification, right? So can you guys please, on any social media platform you choose, use the hashtag askgogomoyo, lit lockdown, and then share this stream, please. We need to make sure that it's littered all over social media. So can you do that for me, please? I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, if you have special emojis that you can have access to, then please put them up on your screen. Dope messages. Erinklo, hey, what's up, y'all? And then I'm gonna go into the conversation I want to. So please do share the stream. And then, firstly, please may you speak English only if you don't mind. I will try by all means. I will try by absolutely all means. I will try. And also when the comments go crazy about the fact that I'm only speaking English. Okay, that's weird. Let me see. Am I on the Wi-Fi or am I? Okay, I added the Wi-Fi as well. I jumped onto the Wi-Fi. Yes, please may you speak English. That was the last comment. Every single one of you guys to think your name that. And I want to talk about a couple of things. Where my notifications gone? Connection. Asiguva hankosi. Okay, guys, let me know. Is the connection better? Oh, bad connection. Oh God. This is the weirdest stream ever. Bad connection, but why? There's a storm coming. It's better now. Thanks, Lebo, for the update. If you guys are in agreement with Lebo, please also share and let me know. But I'm seeing actually the Wi-Fi is wanting to go crazy. I'm trying to refresh the screen here. Network CBC. Oh, bad network. Ishapo no, Lerato says. Okay. Network, yeah, lockdown, Mara. Yes, exactly. The more of us are online and it's okay now, Gogo connection back. It's way better now. Oh, fantastic. I jumped off the Wi-Fi, so I'm using my phone's network rather. Your skin, thank you. I'm back. It's good. Fantastic, guys. Great. Woo! If I may start this all over again, Thokozani bogogo nabomkhulu. Welcome to my, I don't even know what I can call these. They are Ask Gogomoyo Lit Lockdown discussions, and we are basically going to talk about everything. So I also want a lot of your questions to come from you. Specifically, I want to talk to the elements of us having reset, especially to the old systems we used to upload upload and subscribe to in our lives. We're going to talk about COVID as well as the perspectives and conversations around there. But most necessarily, and most importantly, we're going to be talking about us on a personal level, especially to the point where the narrative of this whole conversation is, why is it easy for us to be able to talk to other people in terms of what we see is wrong with them, what we feel we can guide them on or advise them on. But as soon as the roles then change, as soon as you are the one who is being given that advice, or rather, you can't even give it to yourself. And that's mainly where the issue is that you could go as far as saying, Raitaba, as a people, we are afraid of us as ourselves because we're not willing to set direct. Oh, goodness gracious, you're live. I've been live. What you talking about? Okay, guys, it seems like we're going to have a struggle today with this live, especially because the weather, there's a storm coming up, and I don't know how much of this is affecting, but I think largely a lot of it. But to get back to the general conversation, I wanted to talk to you guys about that conversation. I'm going to try avoid the comments right now because I really want to deliver an important message to you guys. And for me to do that, I'm going to eye away from the comments so I can really, really tap into the conversation of what I feel needs to be relayed. So right now we are stuck in our homes, and besides the fear element, we don't also know if there's anything to go back to when we come back. And because of that, let me cancel. It's going to cancel the stream. Because of the angst that we feel sitting in our homes, all we can do is eat. We're almost like forced to relate to our family members. Depending on the relationships you kept with them, it's either different. For the most part, you are now incubated in a space and you have to share, you have to interact, you have to be one with each other. And it's teaching you all over again how to share spaces, how to appreciate the people that you live with, the people that are in your life and who positively and purposefully choose to be a part of your life. And also how you then respond and how you react back to them. What feedback are you giving them as people who are loving being around you and sharing your space? Secondly, so those relationships are kind of brushing up against each other because you're almost learning each other all over again. I know I'm with my parents, my mom and my dad, as well as my siblings, my older brother and my younger sister, as well as my niece, my brother's daughter. So amongst the three of us siblings, we spent a lot of time together a long time ago, a long time ago. Not that we don't have great relationships, but we hang out a lot at home, which is perfect because then our parents can gain it on the conversations and then memories are created. But now it's every day. It's almost like sharing chores, and then whatever you didn't fix back then is haunting you now. Whatever you didn't fix back then in terms of relationships, respecting each other, respecting each other's spaces, just an appreciation for the person that's sharing a space with you, and how without going out of their way, they make your days easier. But then there's an element of idlozi at this time, and some of you, befanele bangene phehlweni. They were supposed to start their trainings, bangene phehlweni, and now they find themselves stuck at home with half-packed bags because they were ready to get out of their homes and really start their journeys in terms of umsebenzi wamadlozi. And then the upset came based on the virus and the whole shutdown. And now you're trying to comprehend if it was Lako understands whether or not the situation that you are in. And largely, you obviously choose the negative side of it because you're not sure yourself. But then on the other front, your dreams are so loud, they're so vivid. Oh, they're like tales. Like from the beginning all the way to the end, you get the basic gist of a story. I was in a session earlier on this morning and I was speaking to this lovely lady, and she's from Soweto, and she's basically in maybe perhaps 4 dreams collectively. And over a period of time, she's dreamt about her angene phehlweni on what level and the hows towards that, to aphehla athwasa nomundawo aphinde futhi bambuyisele ekhaya. Through dreams, she knows nothing about the journey. She's literally just tuning into the TV that's shown to her daily, if you're that lucky. But now it's worse because it's no longer just on visuals. It's also the visual of dream, but it's also the visual of sight. Because you, just by sitting in your home, you may be picking up on energies. You're picking up on abatala that are near you and around. Sorry guys, this network is being so unkind. I'm seeing so many familiar faces. Thank you guys for tuning in. And now the parents also, it depends on what kind of household you're born in and you live in, they're not entertaining you. They think you're attention seeking. They think like, oh my God, they can't get over, like they're over you rather. And then there's the kind that are literally listening to your experiences. They're half as worried as you are and they're concerned. But they feel stuck because they don't know what to do. If you're a parent and your child is struggling with their calling, can you please communicate on their behalf? Pray, patla, meditate for your children. Speak for light in their lives, for clarity. Ask to help them see what they're being shown so they can also show a role that you need to play for them and how to support them. And vice versa, if you're the one who's needing the support, ask Itongo for the families to step in, or for them to bring the dreams away from you and to them rather, so that they can have their own visuals, their own stories, their own insight of exactly what's going on with you. I know right now, others are already there. I think it's better to already be there than still need to start. Because even when you're on lockdown, like the journey still continues, the teaching processes still continue because they still kept on a daily basis. They didn't start out of nowhere. They started with the lockdown, etc. Bad network is so bad here. I'll help you personally. My dreams and visitations and the chills. Sorry guys about the network. There's a big storm and I'm actually seeing outside it's starting to get dark. I think you guys won't see it because of my ring light. But yeah, that's what's happening. And I can understand that for the most part for people. I think also another thing are those people that are sitting at home who get all the communication, but your courage dololo. Oh, they don't even know how to stand up for themselves. They don't know how to protect themselves. And I don't even know what kind of mindset I can say it is. It's almost like you would want to shake them. Imagine for them in their dreams. Imagine all the other areas as well. Oh, Gogo, don't worry about the network. It connects and disconnects, but we hear you. Bidimelo, thank you. You're giving me 100% feedback that I can use right now. Thank you so much. So all the different ways that Umuntu is struggling with Lozi right now. For one, guys, can I just give you the basic things that I'm doing for myself right now? Because I'm realizing all I need to do is take care of myself. Because obviously the world is making sure it's taking care of itself. It's kept all of us dirty people away from its lovely, beautiful nature because we don't know how to take care of things that are here and meant for us. We don't know. Whether we find a thing that's good for us, we're going to find a way to spoil it. We're going to find a way to take away from it. Like, we've got a very bad culture of not appreciating the things that we get. Like even me being on this live stream right now, firstly, for one, I've got the resources that I can be able to feel like I can share and express my views and have like-minded people listening in a conversation and we interact. And secondly, it's an opportunity for you to find another community of people that are going through something similar or the same or have or are still to. It's a whole community in itself. So we need to be kind to each other. We need to be respectful to each other. If there's a question you can see that needs an answer and it's a light question, answer it for somebody. I know it's my platform, but I mean, we're in this together, like we're doing the same thing, you know? I'm not one of those people that are like claim people. I don't claim people. I don't have people. I may have people, but Mina, I'm not trying to do that. So when you see something that needs your area of influence and it's not even gonna take anything away from you, be that person who lends a hand. Be the one that helps. Be the one that advises as positively as you would yourself. But getting back to the thing that I'm doing for myself right now, I don't think I've steamed so much in my life over a short period of time, even if in Kulen steamer. Hence, you guys are going on about my skin is futobokoko, is futobomkulu. Drink a lot of water, make sure that you maintain your body. Palaza, ugeze, the basic things that I've been talking about on my channel to get from there. So that's basically what I do. Besides that, take salt, Teddy. Take cloth salt and chuck it under your bed for one. Put it on the edges of your window. All those kind of things, especially because you're trying to be discreet about it. And also, guys, one thing that I wanted to share that I find myself doing a lot, whenever I'm researching is into Zamadlozi, and I find that I can't necessarily find it or the creativity behind how I can be creative also mangiting lapha umuntu isgulani or myself or situations in my house. I go on the net and I look under headings of witches, of Wicca, of paganisms, of shaman, all of those headings have creativity, have diversity. And you guys know my narrative behind a belief. I believe in being more spiritual so that I don't bar myself from learning things. I want to learn all the learnings that I can possibly learn. If I can learn to speak better, I'm all about that. If I can learn to be a better person, I'm all about that. If I can learn to channel, be a better human being towards the people that come in contact with me, I'm all for it. So I'm very open in my thinking and I'm very diverse in my thinking because I feel I run with the principle of if you try something once, you can draw an opinion. And spirituality only asks of that, is have your own experience. In comparison to religion, there's textbooks, there's files, there's schools, there's uniforms, there's everything that takes to house and body a conversation, to structure it, to control it, to influence it, and to play around with it. All those things inevitably are, again, from someone else's perspective and influence, because you're reading about other people's experiences and very seldom are you creating your own. So in this past week, I actually been Gobongo and almost starts from scratch, if you may. I wanted to dig really deep into myself because I'm realizing that I don't think this version of me, or rather the version in the beginning of the lockdown of me, is going to be relevant, or it's a complete change of narrative. Like it's almost like the world is shuffling. It's shuffling and resetting. And as sad and traumatic and horrendous as all the deaths are on a global scale, every single plague, natural disaster, anything negative that came to impact the world to reset its channel for growth always had casualties. It had to take to give. It had to take to give. And very seldom are you going to have a natural disaster and then you find that there was zero casualties. There's no one who even if they could sacrifice their lives to save their families. Never mind us even. So those are important. As I said, Ikobongo basically is ancestral food, loosely termed, which is basically tree trunks that have been chopped up into small little pieces, small little chunks, a combination of herbs brought together for the sole purpose of to help you connect with your ancestors, to be able to connect in the form of you seeing them better, you dreaming better, and you cleaning and cleansing your body to accommodate the right herbs to feed into the process then that you are getting into, and that is to connect with your ancestors, right? And then So you put it in a bucket, you put some water in there, again, a combination of them, and then you use a twig. The twig is going to have the ends look like a V, and basically it's going to use it as a whisk to beat the water in that bucket. And then some other people, like the Xhosa nation, some others as well, bathatha le gobongo bayiphehlele phezu kwekhanda lakho in the beginning of your training. But also it's something that is equally important for people that have ascended to reconnect, put the soil underneath their feet, start again, and find their footing, especially with so much chaos in the world and so much change, like that frequency. So we have to preserve what we have. So we eat right. We have to eat consciously. We have to eat knowing that the foods we buy are no longer mahenya. The sweet stuff that we used to buy before, the unnecessaries, guys. The essentials are what's needed in this transition. And because of that, it enables us to be able to navigate better. You may find that your sleeping pattern is changing. Maybe the pattern of your dreams is changing. Do you now dream when you nap? Do you only dream when you are sleeping at night? Mostly. Your general mood, your home, your environment, the stuff that's coming in from your devices, what you are putting out into the world from your devices, to the time spent in your altars, in your sacred spaces. Khanyisa ikhandlela, shungisa impepho, thelisa inefu phansi kwayi, pray, phahla, meditate, essentially. And all those things together, collectively, they then put you on the right path, in the right form, in the right guidance with your ancestors. And that's essentially what's important. So that's where I've gone back to. So in the beginning of this week, I didn't want to wake up alone because I wanted to do this at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I invited my family. In passing after lunch at the table, I shared that this is what I'm going to do in my week. And am I the only one that cannot hear Gogo? I'm pretty sure that you guys can hear me. There's too many of you guys on the stream not to hear me. And I told them that everybody can choose for themselves what they want to do at this time, whatever set of combinations you want to put together, whether you're going to go out as a priest, as a mporofeta, as a wanawabadimu, whatever comes naturally to you. And do that. So my mom was busy with her candle set, my sister as well, separately, all the colors. Obviously they have commonalities, but everybody just went their own directions, and that was beautiful to see. Thank you, Mr. Lamin Nyabong. And they will automatically know, yeah, you can either get up from your bed and switch it off, or you getting dressed and coming outside. The rules I gave everybody is make sure that the night before you begin, everything is sitting in place. So that you don't run around at 3 o'clock. You're obviously not conscious enough. You're not woke enough. And we need you to do just one solid thing at a time. Just get out of bed and go to your altar, prepare your space, and get into your work, right? So fix the stuff the night before, including your cushion, if you need a cushion on the side of your bed, because that's what you're going to need, to a detour past the kitchen, to do whatever you got to do, whatever it is that you need to do that. And it worked. I was surprised. None of them folded on all of the days. We did it for 5 days. None of them folded. But I found it very interesting as well, because it taught me about my family, and I think it taught them about themselves, because they possibly thought that they couldn't do what they did, but they were really strong. And as a family, because everything is better when you do it in a group, you are able to run longer, do better. You can help each other along the way, and that's important. And I think if I am not getting too carried away, I've started a trend in my home, and so can you. Choose a time of day, choose an intention, and stick with it. Everybody needs grounding right now. You need to listen in on the instructions that your ancestors and your guides and Mudimwa How is telling you about. You need to take stock of everything that you're feeling because it's rightfully there. It's rightfully there. It just needs to be channeled. The rains come, the rains go. Collect rainwater for those that feel that it's difficult to go to the rivers. Obviously, all of us are yearning for water on our bodies. So collect real rainwater so that you can make sure that some practices carry on moving. And it'll also teach you by the end of everything, prayer journal, 3 a.m. prayer, Pasha meditate, 7 a.m. tea. That looked interesting. I wanted to read it, sorry. Tea with abokoko in my corner. That's dope. That's dope. If you cannot go out there into the world, unaga abanye abantu, unabuta abanye abantu benzani, ube up and off, ungathi khona into obhizi ngayo. Like, without you, because you no longer are unable to do that and fill the streets and seem like you're busy and like, woo, you're on your missions. Now you're forced to stop the lorry. Hold up. Everybody, pull out keys from any ignitions, lock doors, throw away keys. Like, we're going to be here for a while type of thing. So it's kind of forcing you right now to learn about yourself on that perspective. So meaning you need to live your life differently. You need to embrace different things. You need to be appreciative of things differently. And most importantly, time spent with our family members. Because this is times that we're going to be able to tell our children about, because most of our memories are going to be found and made here. There's people that are going to leave relationships as soon as we're done with this lockdown. There are people that are going to solidify their relationships as soon as we're finished with the lockdown. The differences are vast and in between. But most importantly, the relationship you will keep with yourself will still be the only one that's most relevant and the only one that makes sense. And for as long as that's important, it needs you to pay attention to the different flows of your groove and all the different things that you're asked of. Like, show up. Show up to this journey, because it's not like you can be engaged by Twitter the whole time, or askgogomoyo the whole time, or whatever is going on in your life the whole time. You can't take pretty pictures for a living your whole life. And even if you are, I hope you're sharing a message, because that's the point. And if you're liking what I'm saying, please click on that like button, because I know a lot of you guys need this. And that's important. Share responsibility in the home. No one is here for the other. No one is slave driving each other. And most importantly, if you are seeing that your neighbor is troubled, did you hear me? My English is amazing. If you are seeing that your neighbor is troubled, don't turn a blind eye. Make that call on behalf of your neighbor. There are times when they've shown you that they're in uncomfortable relationships, they don't feel safe, they are not being treated well. Make the call on their behalf. It is better to take someone in Clyde's and, we were here for each other. Because it's important for everyone to hold in together and walk some. Now I'm going to talk about something that might upset a lot of you guys, but that's okay, because I'm not here trying to make no friends. I appreciate y'all, but I ain't trying to make no friends. And if there's things that I need to know and learn from, I appreciate if you tell me too, because I'd like to be the best version of myself too. I think this virus found us as a country with no belief. Collectively, we believed in nothing. Collectively, we had no resources or guidances towards the things that if this was to happen, let's attempt this. Almost like because everything has been happening to the world around us, can't possibly happen to us. Almost as if apartheid was the last thing that could happen to us. And even then, come on, there was still apartheid in other parts and segregation in other parts of the globe. So most of the time, we're hardly ever new to experiences. It's just that we're the ones who are supposed to find ourselves out of it. Thank you. And that's very important for us to realize that we have roles to play in this. But they found us no belief systems. Right now, our churches are closed. I could say thank God, because even the pastors are showing that they're not even trying to jump onto this narrative. I remember seeing on my Twitter stream, there was a conversation about the world's richest pastors, and it was from America. People were worth billions, yet they are serving communities that don't have, that are without. They drive nice cars, fancy cars. They're in beautiful clothes. They're in threads for days, but their communities are struggling, and they're impoverished. There are homes that need support. There are children that need support. There are schools that need support. And right now, none of those pastors, as much as you're feeling like Izangoma are not saying a word towards the virus, I've noticed myself that the pastors are not trying to even come close, which obviously says that the virus is importantly lethal. It's infectious, and you don't need to have an experience to believe that it exists. Look at the history. Look at the history of this virus and how it's been treated, and the one that reacts the soonest is the smartest. So I'd written down some notes, actually. Izangoma also are limited in the way that they can speak, but also the upset is that even if we were to speak, who from where can I contact to get me part of the right conversation? If we're not choosing the people that we are more appreciative of, then we are wanting to keep things for ourselves. We are not spreading the conversation. We're not opening it up. And there's a lot of ego in a lot of industries. And by virtue of that, we are not talking about the issues we're struggling with. We're more about what's mine, how I can protect it, how I can preserve it, how I can expand and profit from it. If, we could add that too. And which already now speaks to, we'll never come together, because if either we're not in competition, willingly or not, we don't like sharing, we don't cross transfer of knowledge. We work in silos for the most part, and therefore our impact in the world will always be minimal, if any. I believe if we as a unit were much stronger and more combined, streamlined, center-lined, knowing that here's the default number 4, here's the default thing 4. Anything that has to do with the Ubungoma, it starts here, and then it will filter throughout the different little groups or different specialty groups or corners that exist that focus in on the conversation. That would make sense. But now if one is discovering something about abuse and rape in Epehleni, someone is discovering that Abokobela are mistreating their children and robbing their children of their natural progressive stages. Epehleni once to people that are wanting to kill others, to use their bodies for immunity, to scams, to online scams, the works. I mean, like, if you have a system, then you can filter out the work and everybody gets something to focus on, right? Then we're more efficient. We make more sense. We get further. But now if everybody's conversations out there, because the more people realize that conversations exist, they'll start participating in them. We'll start creating our own systems as Black people. We'll go back to using the original systems we used to have back in the day. But most importantly, we'll no longer shun away from who we are and how we problem solved before anything ever came to be, even before my English was as good as it is today. It started off with our Nguni and indigenous backgrounds, where everything began. And we were proud of our colors. We didn't mind being dark. We really didn't mind being dark. It was one of the most beautiful things about us. That's why Cancer sun rays still, have got nothing on us. It's your DNA doesn't just mold you in how you look like, or you take the characteristics of another. It's about also embedding the richness of Imbande, the root that you are from, firstly. Secondly, it is then to bring you forward in your stature as you are, as umntwana wedlozi, as a gifted person, as a talented person, as a person that's worth celebrating. There's some people who are amazing business people, but bahlupha yidlozi, and you're like, what are you doing? Their life is all over the place because it's not really coming together right. There's some doctors who are in theaters, bahlupha yidlozi. There are people in courts and classrooms, bahlupha yidlozi. Like a lot of them, bahlupha yidlozi. You watching here, it's having its way with you. This tea is cold now. It's having its way with you. It's having its way with you. And therefore, it's important to have such channels so that, Gogo, we love what you're doing, but can you please focus more on, can you please maybe gather us up together? These are the topics that we would like to chop up as a collective. Guys, I don't like ownership. Like, it may say my name on this channel because I wanted it to have an association. But I'm going to do the things that benefit you. I'm not going to do things that I'm going to try change the original everybody. So it needs to work for you guys. And it's important for us to share ideas, to communicate, to meet up, really change the narrative of our own industry because, guys, smele boban. Like, smela boban. Who are we waiting for? Like, who are we waiting for? If I'm going to have access to this equipment, I might as well be able to use it and share a strong message and teach and help join dots for people. I saw someone asking me about Mkhululi Sedi earlier on. I'm glad that a friend of mine that I could feature on this channel, by virtue of having 2 videos with me, he left his mark, especially because he takes care of the 3 a.m. prayer group on Telegram. It's nice because you can put people in their own slots. Everybody gets a space somewhere, and then they can coexist. We can all coexist because at the end of the day, we're doing the same thing, guys. Like, we're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing. But for the most part, reset, start again. Go back to listening to Itongo and what exactly is speaking to you about. How do we find Gogo Lisedi on Telegram? I think the name of the group, you know what? I'm going to write the post at the end of this with all my social media handles, including the group, okay? Yes, it's a 3 a.m. prayer group. We pray every day, whether we post or not. The point is we pray every day. 3 a.m. prayer group. And wherever possible, we add variations to try new things, whatever. But this is now your time for you to ask me questions, but most importantly, towards the things I've been talking to you about, so that we can help each other through the struggles. I know you're fearful. I know you're scared. But courage only is courage because it doesn't mean that you don't acknowledge your fear. It just means you use it in your power. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. If you're going to go down with your hands in front of you. Like, show that you are walking towards the changes that you needed in your life. And yes, again, if you guys are loving the environment we've set here today, can you please go over to the like button and leave your mark and your stamp that you've been here, even if you're not going to comment. I'd like you guys to ask me about the things that you have started to do, in your own personal capacities, in your own private spaces, what you are starting to learn about this period. Guys, a lot of the things that were there before, they won't be there. For one, EdCon is not going to be there. It announced on the news that it's suffering. Last year it got a bailout of millions. It didn't work. Imagine EdCon closing. How many people are those that dress each and every one of us on one level or another? So we need a lot of creativity, guys. We don't need angst. We don't need fear. It just says, my darling child, all the things that you've ever thought about, this is the time for you to pursue them. This is the time for you to pay attention to yourself. And for the most part, what is it that I've ever wanted to do? Hey, but I like the sewing business, hey? But who am I going to dress? But you know what? Let me sew anyway. Along the way, someone is going to merge with me, come up with a creative idea, and go to spaces that I can't reach. Vice versa. Shared links, shared conversations. We are talking now more than we did when our lives were running. We're engaging now more than we did then. Instead of us going at each other, sending us each other hate on the timelines, really being unnecessary. We should be seeing something, people come up with ideas, we run with them, we create new things. Even if you get an idea of social media, go back into your own space and work on your own things. Work on your own things. When you come out of here, press play. Do you understand that? Press play. We're not still saying find your feet, because this is the time that you've been building up. That we've been building up. This is the new world, and it's ordering us to start again. And in ways that are going to change our narrative. There's somewhere I listened to there's two stories I want to share with you guys. I'm glad I remembered. So I was listening to a podcast, The Journey Kwantu. It's on .co.za, excuse me. And Uvus was interviewing some lady, I forgot who she was, and she was talking about, have you ever seen, or have you not noticed that? What she meant by that is, remember the time when you suddenly start eating meat? Thank you, Simpiwa. Thokozani cool. Thank you. Nice to see you on the timeline here. And do you remember the time when you stopped eating meat all of a sudden? Do you remember the time when like all the time, now all of a sudden you're like wrapping your head, why? All the time you started something and obsessed over something, especially things that bring you closer to self. You know, when when you wrap your crown, like you're now almost like putting a layer around you of like don't come close to me, like don't touch me, like almost like I'm putting myself in a shell that even when I'm outside, it's breathable, the air comes seeping through, but all the dust stays outside. Like it's that light that you wear, but you can feel its difference when you wear your crown. And wow, you're funny to me. Why do I keep seeing your posts? Bodies, guys. Like there's so many bacteria in it. It speaks to our bodies differently, especially when you have to fast for your ceremonies, all those kind of things. So it's important to realize each and every one of these spaces and stages you go through. So her emphasis was all these times when you are isolating yourself from the world and it now manifesting on a physical, that you have to physically act it out when you do it. It's showing that there's somewhere where I feel I need to be engaging, and this is the closest I can place it in terms of the reference I have in my mind of what it is I'm feeling based on what it is I've been experienced or exposed to in the world, if that makes sense to you guys. And I found it so important that she said that, because I'm thinking about every time I've had a stage in my life. Like I've had so many stages in my life that all of them you've grown, and that one thing that you used to use or reference no longer serves you, doesn't help you, doesn't add to you. So now you've shed it. Like you've shedded it, and everything perfect. Leave it. This next corner we're gonna take, it's not coming with us. Leave it. So the changes need for you to notice them every time they keep happening to you, because they are mirroring what's happening to you on a spiritual level. You just haven't woken into it yet. And then the second story I wanted to share is I'm part of this group Gogo from all over the world, especially in Africa, and they all have African tales. And this other lady was sharing a story about Nomkagaza. I think, yeah, Nomhagaza, yes. And she was this princess, guys. Can I share the story with you guys? She was this princess, and she's been taken care of, served to her whole entire life. And now she's been given an instruction to do certain things by her ancestors. She's very basically. And she gets instructions that, Gok, we need you to make a fire. She's like, but guys, I'm a princess. I've never made a fire before. I wouldn't know how to do that. Her ancestors replied to her, we know you're a princess. We know you've never done it before. We came here knowing you can't do it. Now please, get on with the task we've given you. They ask her to catch chickens so that she can do a ceremony for herself before she leaves to go off to the next things that they're going to send her on. She's like, but Bokoko, I don't know how to catch a chicken. I'm a princess. I've never done it before. Again, her ancestors say, we know you're a princess. We know you've never caught a chicken before. We came here knowing that you don't know how. I think the moment I started picking up on the rhythm and the repetition of this, it made me go back into self, because here you are sitting in, I don't know how to do those things. I don't know how to do any one of those things. But Gogo, we know you don't know how to do those things. We know that you've never done it before. We came here knowing that you've never done it before. Now please, go on and do as we've told you. Imagine if that changed your perspective on your conversation and your narrative towards your ancestors, because they would advise you and show you. And anytime they say something, then for you, their first reference to be, but you, how do I do that? Instead of, okay, because clearly they know that I know that they know that I don't know how to do this. Let me do the best I can. Let me do the best I can. And that's all they ever ask you for. And every time they do that, you do it. Can you imagine how far in your spiritual journey that you would be right now? Like, can you imagine? Because you will no longer be held back by the fact that you can't do something, but be on the same page to know that your ancestors know that you can't do certain things. But it doesn't mean that you cannot. It just means that you have not. And that's the difference. So now when it comes to your spiritual journey, all the things they show you, all the things they guide you on, and they highlight for you as important, I implore you to start today. Rather fumble your way through it than not at all. I don't know what else you're doing with your time right now, because I know you're not awfully busy. This is giving you the chance to jump into those conversations. They're clearly going on, and they're happening around you because they're happening in your dream state. So how are you, the receptor, not part of the conversation? Why is there an imbalance for you? Why is there an imbalance for you? Where's your level of consciousness and your level of self-reflection and realizing what is happening around you now? What needs your focus right now? And how you have an opportunity to recreate yourself. Like the world is saying, fat. So let's start all over again. Now the question is, what version of you are you going to present to the world on your return? Including now, while you are scouring the timelines, every timeline you come across, would you like to get a message from yourself? That's the question I have for you. And it's important for us to be self-reflective. Because the room is starting to get smaller and there's just a lot of people in it. That's how it is right now. We can't go outside for air. We can't go outside for a run. We can't do those things anymore. So now we have to learn how to be amongst other people. We need to have culture. We need to be able to hold our tongues and our opinions to ourselves. We need to learn to be kind towards other people and know that everybody has a story to tell. Everybody is going through something. And it's your responsibility to be kind to the next person as you would like them to be to you. No one's perfect. It won't be easy for anybody, but walk up with mirrors in your house so that you don't start throwing stones to other people's glass houses. And that's what I feel I'd like to communicate with you guys today. That was a close-up and a half, ne? Did you think I was coming in for a kiss? You see, guys, questions like this to me, they speak of someone who is not wanting to really be part of the conversation. This lady says, I'm not sure if it's a lady, sorry. It says, Thokozani Gogo, I recently dreamt of a yellow and white candle. What does this mean? Like, questions like that to me show me or tell me that you have no responsibility over your life or your calling. By that I mean, and all the words I'm going to be used are coming from the kindest place of my heart, that you are, in terms of, if you are on my stream right now, you know that I have talked about candle magic. You know I've talked about candles. You can't be on this channel and not know the contents of this channel. So if you are still asking about what do white or colored candles mean, then to me, it shows that you are not anywhere close to wanting to connect with your ancestors. You are nowhere ready to take responsibility for your journey, because you don't even have to follow me to want to learn that information. By going onto the internet and asking that question on your, still be asking questions like that, to me, I don't believe that you are ready to turn your life around, or you are even interested in the calling that is bestowed on you. Because if you did, these things are, I mean, for instance, Twitter timeline is filled with so many educators. People freely and even unwarranted share information. So there's no reason for you not to be without the information. Anywhere you go, even on Instagram, I saw some lady put up candle colors on her timeline as well as on her stream. Like, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Take ownership of your life. The research and the resources are out there. Then we're gonna keep babying you. I'm sorry, darling, because I'm not gonna be interested in having the same conversation with you around the same thing the entire time I interact with you. Because for the fact that I'm engaging you, it means that this is what I'm doing to teach. This is what I'm doing in my own personal capacity. I'm sharing these experiences. So it means that you have to go learn and make your own practices, and you have your own experiences, create your own altars to your suitings, to your likings. Own umsebenzi wakho mntu omdala, own your calling, own your path, own it. Like, you can't give it to me. Like, I've run around and done all the things I need to do for that. So if you're going to ask a mundane question like that, and it's not even just her, it's not even I'm singling you out. I'm talking about the nature of the question. The nature of the question, I can't help you there, because you need to wake up to yourself. No, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at her. Please don't worry. Don't even worry. It's not even coming from a negative place in my heart. I'm trying to teach beyond. I'm trying to make you aware of your own actions. That's why they bring you to a point of asking such questions. That's what I'm trying to emphasize on. It's not about the individual, not at all. But yellow and white candles are for you to connect with your ancestors. They're for your communicative level, as well as uskanyisele, and ask for your own light through them. You pray, you pata, and you meditate with them, and you read your candles, because they're going to, I'm having. So basically, that's that. The more you spend time with something, the more the relationship grows. It's like when you met your lovely partner, your lovely wife and husband, you had to spend time with them. You have to spend time with them for you to learn about them. Otherwise, a lot of the information is going to pass you if you don't spend the time. So if you're trying to communicate with your ancestors, spend the time. Make the time. Make an alarm on your phone. When you know that it's in between your favorite shows, it's in between the things that you like, You can even watch the Esasendumbeni series, as Balisa suggests, which is true. Someone's also making mention to Instagram. Literally, it's all over the place. All the things. What is this one saying? Abraham. When God bless you, Gogomoyo. I learned how to path and connect with my guides ever since I watching your video 2 years ago. I started buying things I dreamt about. Now I have umsamo. Like you're an MVP of note, because that's what this is about. It's about the progressiveness of a relationship. If I'm going to spend so much time with you guys should be learning from me, not just using each video in isolation. It's a whole body of work. It's a whole body of conversations. And again, they can be more in tune the more you conversate with me to guide them a specific way. So yeah, let me go back to your questions and see what going there. Okay, you guys are answering each other. Yes, pray part-time before you sleep. 3 a.m. is a magical and amazing time, guys. You should try that. Maybe you can do it for 3 days and then go back to your usual time. You don't have to do it all the time, but at least dedicate a few days to going at that time. It'll help you a great deal. I'm very proud of the guy that's got Umsamo now. It was like Bonga. And I know for a fact that you have also started seeing things differently in your life. Based on the fact that you have since made the space for yourself. I trust that you've also seen the results. Someone says, Gogo, does the use of cannabis weed is harmful to my spirit? I'm not sure if it's happening now or if you're asking, does it? I believe it does not. There's many ways that Lapabantu using marijuana, insango, weed, for a trick that she has been taught in her family from over the years, over the generations, to deal with things such as flu, as well as inflammation and groggy throats. And if I can share with you guys, so now it's my chance to teach you what I've learned off a live stream a few days ago from Gogo. Hang on for me 2 seconds. Let's get these on. Sorry for the banging of the ears. I'm sure it's making a sound. So this is something I'm going to share with you guys. I just felt like maybe that was dirty. So this is something I want to share with you guys. This is a bottle of weed. Inside, it's marijuana. But it's also got a spirit inside, a gin preferably. And inside there's old buck. So what does this do? Is deals with inflammation. It also handles flus, especially groggy throats. And my dad is someone that usually used to cough a lot. Well done, Dimi. You saw that too. I'm glad. So you see, knowledge transfer. My dad always has a groggy throat. He's always like clearing his throat. So ever since I walked around the house and made everybody have a teaspoon or a spoon of it, then I realized that he actually came back to me asking for more of it, because he was saying that his throat is now clearing and he no longer has this cough that wakes him up in the middle of the night. So I found this to be really interesting. So to answer your question, anything that's plant-based that you get from the ground, we are lapha, we are akha, we are mosha. So learn about what all these different things do so that you can learn how to then use them to influence the people around you in your life. I don't know if I'm leaving anything out about it, but yeah, you take a spoon in the morning and in the evening, and essentially that's that. Gogo, I have so much air in my tummy. It growls so loudly. I want to always any bad toxins that you have, futa, kapa. You can even clean your tummy as well, just to start off everything from scratch. You know, we like to work from clean environments and clean spaces so we can see if we're going to try anything new, what kind of reactions are you going to have to it? So we don't want to add to something that's already dirty. And then from there, try to see the week after what kind of reaction you have. But um, it sounds like someone udle ikobongo, because as soon as that your tummy gets really full, well, you burp a lot as well, and sometimes it goes at the other end. But yes, that's essentially what it sounds like. Oh, that works. My late grandmother used to give it to me as a kid, and I never got sick again with respiratory problems. So, honestly, guys, I don't know. She had a Xhosa name for it. I don't know what it's called in my language. It'll be very interesting to find out that I also got to learn about the muti before I even got to learn its name. And now I can add to the many other solutions I have in Dumbeni. And that's essentially it, guys. If our fraternity spoke more, shared more, opened up their worlds more, we'd know what issues need solving, we'd know how to navigate them, we'd put the right systems and channels in place, would be less about ego and more about building an ecosystem that's going to learn and thrive. Our grandparents used to be able to know how to do it. And that includes our parents and their parents, ever since it got to be derailed. And that's why today we're adopting so many of the Western lifestyles and ideologies, because we don't feel ours are superior enough to celebrate or to pay attention to. If you're relating to any of the content I'm sharing right now, please hit the like button at the top of your screen or at the bottom, mine which appears at the top. But essentially, that's that. And I think it's a very important question for each and every one of us to ask ourselves is, during this shutdown, this lockdown, what do you think is your area of influence? What do you think you're being sent to the world to learn? What is it that you need to come and influence? How are you supposed to come leave your mark? When I what is your addition? What is your addition? What do we know you for? What do we know you for? We'd like to learn about that from you. And it's quite important that it's a known thing by the people that are in your life, because we want to interact, we want to grow as a body, we want to learn from each other, we want to share resources, we want to get over the struggles that we currently have today, because they're not our own. We are not adapting, we are not moving with the time, we are not learning, we're stuck in a time, we're dependent on people, we're dependent on things, we're waiting to be recognized, we're not recognizing ourselves, we're reading old people's scriptures, we're reading other people's experiences, we're not creating our own. We lack to still show up into the world. We really lack still doing that. And I think it's so sad for us. And we're missing out on a great opportunity of influencing the world and leaving a print, especially as the world resets. I think I'm going to leave it there today. That's been an hour and 9 minutes. I feel like I've shared and I've put a lot out there to really challenge you guys. Is it advisable to buy a dream that I dreamt of before Ngitwasa 100%? Yes, please. Yes, definitely. Best do that. That works, grandmother. Yes. Any advice on living with a partner who doesn't believe in khupahla? Pardon me if you've already touched on the subject. It's okay, Puti, we didn't actually. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. What does it mean to dream about having red clay all over your body? Oh, Sandra-sam, I'll touch on that. I don't know if I should continue to partner, although paternal is Pedi, maternal is Zulu. I've recently just found my Pedi roots. 6 months ago, I found out that I was spiritually gifted. Yes, 6 months you found out, but for as long as you've been alive, it's been there. Yes, Gogo, what does it mean when you're dreaming of someone putting litsuko on your hair? I dream about it a lot lately. You're so loud. I don't know who I am. Self-reflection is needed. Me, I'm going to help you check yourself. I told you, I'm not here for friendships, love. If there's one person you can rely on to keep it real, come here. I'm saying I'm wanting to just collectively cover it. Thank you. You're such a blessing. I appreciate you. Also, Khoisan people, Angunu, I've dreamt about them a lot. Okay, good people. I'm just going to quickly go through all those brief questions. And once I get to your question, you better be liking the stream, dropping a comment, or yeah, sharing. Remember, guys, to share the stream. I actually forgot to punt that a long time ago. Sorry, Peter. We used to have that in the beginning. Now we made it. We're fine now. But I'm seeing that there's also a struggle. I'm trying to stream it on my computer near me, of a different network. Firstly, Litsuku, Ubomvu. Mautasisa, on the day of Intoso Yakho, they cover you in it, for one. So if you are and they also put it on Amatasane and trainees' hair when they start or are initiating. So when you see that already, you know that it's in line and it's connected with a spiritual journey. So it's showing that someone please advise Upehla how they can find the like button, please. So when you identify that, if I'm telling you that it already exists in the ceremony of Ugutwasa, then you should realize that you are part of the same society and part of the same grouping. Therefore, research, follow up on your spiritual journey. They're used by amadlozi, abantwana bamadlozi, doing izinto zamadlozi. So get clued up on that as well. It's important. Sometimes I got such a short memory, guys. I know I covered a lot of them in my mind. Gogo, ngicela uphahlele bonke abantu bakini, ngicela ungakhethi. Don't choose any sides. Phahlela all the parties, because some are around long enough to have taken care of you and raised you. Some have given you the bloodline. Some have given you kosi, we fire your gifts. So all of them have had a way or another that influences you. Until you know the difference, phahlela all those different groups of people, because they've all had a way in influencing you and how you got to be at your age right now. Puti asked a very important question, asking if what's happening in your relationship. Like, for you to really ask yourself, is this relationship good for me? Is this relationship serving me? Is it doing what it's supposed to do in my life? Am I benefiting? Am I growing from being in this relationship? Or do I feel like I'm more caged and I have to dumb myself down in terms of all the things that I really want to be doing? Now I have to avoid and be away from this person because he therefore doesn't believe, or she therefore doesn't believe. So I think it's a very good question that you need to ask yourself there, because to me, it says, I don't know how you can have the love of your life who won't allow you to be the best of yourself and to be your own love of your life to yourself. And that's what I think is the biggest thing altogether. So I really shun on relationships like that, especially anyone that's going to make anyone else feel like they can't be their best self because it doesn't suit them. So that's not cool, and that's not a nice place to be in. I think for the most part, if that's one of the struggles you have, then you obviously would have more struggles when your ancestral ceremony is going to ascend and escalate. You're going to need more time doing it. Will you be allowed to go do it? Do you even need to be given permission to go heed your own personal and spiritual things? It's crazy. So that it brings up a new conversation to the relationship. I think maybe it'll be different if someone is scared but is willing to learn. That'll be so very different than from someone who's got a total no, a total dislike, or a total disinterest to the things that you need to get yourself by in your life. And especially those who are in very toxic relationships where your partner will go out of their way to stop you from heeding your best and living your best life and heeding your callings and becoming better versions of yourself, because we've got a thing of feeling like we have to own people, although we own people and people are here for us. People choose to be where they choose to be. And if you're finding that you're in a difficult relationship right now that's not allowing you to really escape and free yourself and really breathe and really, if you want to sing in the shower, sing, if as badly as you sing, you know what I mean? But if you can't do the things that your soul needs to do to really breathe, then I don't think this relationship is for you, or you guys are for each other. It's requiring us to want different things generally. I'm no longer that party person. I'm no longer interested in the things we used to do. I want to go start something else. I want to go hang out with other people. And that's not a rejection to them. That's just acknowledging and understanding that you have a growth that's different to where it started off in the first place. And that's absolutely fine in terms of your relationships. Some people do need to be shuffled around. Some people need to hang on in their relationships. So it's different for each person. But you need to have self-reflection and understand what it is that's important for you. And if you find yourself that you need to be leaving your relationship or changing the tone of your relationship or start talking to each other differently in your relationship, please like the like button, because that's also a great way for you to affirm for yourself that you are aware of your challenges in your home. I'm just gonna, anybody who's new to my content, please indulge me and watch all my content. It's gonna talk to you on many different levels, on many different ways, whether you're starting out, whether you've been working as umntwana amadlozi for a long time, all of it. So please, can you guys 1717, I actually didn't see that because I'm looking at you guys. Thank you for sporting that. Miss Cosmic, see? Peggy, thank you for the direction. I always dream about baby daddy dying. What does that mean? I think sometimes when you see stuff like that, it could also mean, especially when you're saying baby daddy and you're not saying my boyfriend or my lover, so that it shows that the relationship is no longer there. So perhaps you have not ended the relationship on your side as well, because if you keep on dreaming of him dying, one thing I'd need you to communicate that to him, so that if he actually does die, he would have almost prepared his spirit, almost prepared his soul, for lack of a better word. But there's something about the death that's imminent, and it's making sure it's repeating itself. There's an emphasis there. There's an emphasis. So what's the point of the emphasis? What are they trying to relate to you that you're not really realizing? Please saying, I lately want to be alone. Is it normal to always want to be alone? Absolutely. Especially for Bana Baba Dimo, we're not really want people for company. We really don't. We prefer quiet spaces. We prefer being on our own. It's almost like it's the one place where we can listen in more on conversations that are important for us and are needing of us. And they're also here to teach us. So those are important. Those are important for us. Okay, so your questions are appearing at the bottom here. I just can't see the whole entire screen. And it's so delayed, actually. I wanted to see if I can read the questions from here rather than trying to scroll up on. Oh, actually, here they are. They are in tune. So I'm going to read your comments from here and answer you. I think it'll be easier because the font is a lot bigger there. And if he's speaking in his sleep, if you listen to the tone of it, does he sound like he's fighting a lot? Does he sound like he's, like what's the general tone of it? Like, is he someone that sounds like he needs helping, he needs saving? What can you make of that at the time when it's happening? Okay. I don't know. Okay, there we go. I think it's better now. There we go. Okay. I think you skipped my question about dreaming a yellow snake with orange dots swimming underneath you. That just means Gutaban Bagini Basemfuleni, and you have to go join them. So a lot of water-based ceremonies are going to need you to partake in them, and that's going to be a medium for you. So, and snakes are amadlozi, so your ancestors are calling you to the waters, essentially. For the most part, you can't take yourself there. You need to be taken by other people. This feels like a continuation of our session today as our call got cut abruptly. I also know it appears you're wearing them, or can it be someone else that is close to you? Especially anything that you're wearing in the dream means that, guys, dreams are before you are, dreams are after you are before. Meaning, if you are dreaming of yourself wearing something, that means you are behind on what needs to happen after. Do you understand? Like you need to do what you are being shown in the dream and how you are. So whatever variations you need to collect all of them. They all have a place and they all have a use. Thank you, Gogo, for your teachings and drags too. You're welcome. I will host you, I will host you. But thank you guys for the pretty compliments. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you, everyone, too. Gogo, please do a video about what to do when you find things left to you by Amadlozi. I found a black bead on my candle holder, and I have a friend who found it in her fridge. I love the movies you guys feature in. Kopalin scheming. I want to be able to have such experiences. That sounds so cool. Firstly, obviously, I'd freak out because, like, what? But the spiritual part of me, the one that's more excited about Umsebenzi Wamadlozi, would be like, another new great discovery. And then, yeah, basically, I'd obsess over those items. I'd learn how to I'd throw them. I won't even ask to be taught how to throw them. I'd throw them. I'd meditate on them. I'd ask for them to tell me more information about what it is I need to learn about them. I would legit obsess. I would go to people that already have those kind of tools so that maybe they can teach me or look through my collection and tell me if maybe it speaks to a certain group of people, a different style, a certain style, just to educate me about the things that I want, that I find along the way. Then it's going to help you to learn more about it. Don't be afraid of these things, guys. I can understand the initial reaction is of fear, but eventually, if it's sitting here, it's here. So now it's time for me to engage it. I realized that's how it started for me with tarot cards as well. I found a 25-minute drive, and I walked into the shop, which I always advise everyone to do. If you're interested in something, walk into the shop, take a deep breath in and out. Walk slowly throughout the shop. Feel when you get to certain areas of the shop, if there's a magnetic pull, if there's a reaction. Otherwise, walk throughout the shop, feel everything, read, touch, smell, engage. Eventually, whatever is yours, you will gravitate to it, and then it'll have a pull factor. You're going to start obsessing over it. You're going to start looking into it. You're going to buy maybe one today, come back a few weeks later after learning about that one. It's going to keep on changing, but it's going to need you to pay attention of the interest that's there initially. So that's what you need to be doing with all the different things you pick up, you come across, you're shown. Like, let that be your latest new gadget. You know how you obsess over your phone? Like your phone, guys, like you even go to settings that you never even thought they were existing because you want to see everything. You want to use it before, like you don't even give it a time to even be new. No, it's new in your hand. It's new in your hand. Who did they buy it for? Why did they buy it for you? So it must work. Exactly. So adopt that same mentality when you do stuff, like how I did not hesitate to try this mixture. I just literally jumped on it, and now I can actually draw a conclusion from it. I can speak to it because I've engaged it. I've had an interest. I made sure that I spend time engaging in it. And that's essentially the growth of a person. Things are not just going to come to you. When you get an idea and it stays long enough, follow through. Thank you for your teachings. May I ask, ukukhanyisa kwebani? And why does it have to be webani, as in like ibani, as in like a candle? How is it done and what is it done for? Yini umpumela of doing such. Sorry guys, I don't know how to read vernac. I'm sorry. I'm also quite dyslexic, so you must forgive me. They learn about so that they can see it for themselves, what they need to learn from it. And obviously you're going to look at your dreams and your feedback from your ancestors to see if something works for you and it is serving to the work that you're doing. Guys, please make sure also that you steam. The virus doesn't like sitting in cold environments, and unfortunately for us, our country is now starting to go into a much colder season, and it sits in the nasal cavity. So make sure that you are futa, you steam regularly. You can put sea salt in there. You can put just about any ingredient, essential oils, iwasho, imiti if you have and are well versed in them or have a collection of your own. Even citrus, you can put a lemon in there, or an orange, and just chop it up and open it up and put it in there. We just need you to steam, especially your nasal cavity. In cold areas, the virus does not die. It stays longer than it would. So when you steam in certain temperatures, it cannot survive that. So I can advise for you guys to please make sure that you are, if anyone is steaming in their lives right now and have started, please like the button there so I can see that you guys are doing the right things in your lives. I just want to know how to break them down and meaning behind them. Okay, hope seeing numbers and clocks and driving. I think someone told you about the angel numbers video that I've done. Look it up. Anything you type, add Gogomoyo to it, or just the word Moyo to it, and then it'll show you my versions of those videos and not just YouTube's total versions. I have a serious problem. I've started to have panic attacks like seizures and hallucinating and hearing voices. But I hear the follow up. But what I hear and follow up, it means to be true. Prophetess, I'm going to ask you to please expand on that because I don't quite understand the second part. But what I hear and follow up, it happens to be true. That maybe I'm not where you are. Prophetess says greetings. That's all you said previous. So please tell me more of that. Tamisha, how are you, ma? Looking back in my journal, I saw that I dreamt of a rattlesnake. Does it have any significance? It's a snake. In what's going on? Oh, there am I. Ah, that's cool. Unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. That's interesting. Sorry guys, I've got two screens in front of me. One is showing from the background of the live stream. One is showing your comments as they come in. I dreamt of Ishoba and sea stones. How does one get those? Lynette. Ishoba uthola mosephehlweni gogo, especially maqeda ukuthwasa. Ezinye impande, other groups baphana ngeshoba when you have ulobele impande and now so igobela. So akufani kuyahluka. I'm sorry for anyone that wanted an English translation of that. I would struggle for a long time to say that in English. How do I ask my ancestors to assist with financial abundance and opening my financial way and guide me on my business venture? Mula, it's important for you to have a relationship with your ancestors to begin with, because if you're going to be wanting to ask them about specific things, there's also other things that you need to be clued up on and know. And that is also the interaction with your ancestors. So you need to be taught. You need to be taught to communicate with your ancestors and teach yourself and create a consistency between yourself and your ancestors, between the two of you guys, to be able to always be in conversation together. Because it says that part of you having such a great interest in business is because there's a certain ancestor that's able to help you and navigate the industry of commerce. So because that is the case, if you don't know who that ancestor is, you cannot necessarily gain more insight on a more quicker rate, more effectively. And even when you ask for it, because you won't know that person by name, or even know how they influence you. Is it perhaps their gift that they used to have before that they're now passing it on to you? Guys, everybody has ancestors, everybody has gifts. Not all of them mean translate to the fact that mele utwase uthatha umsebenzi wamadlozi akufani for people. Prophetess, I see you're back here, and you say the voices that I hear when I hallucinating starts, they happen to be true. I was ordained as a prophetess in church, but I think there is something to do with idlozi systems and ways of living that you used to work with, and you've a way of communicating that you've set with your ancestors. So that means that you know their way of communicating. So if you used to have visions or dreams, they would come to you in a natured way, in a certainly natured way. Now when it comes to your ancestors, if you look into your dreams and if you're really being honest about the things that you're seeing and are coming to you, you'll also notice that now there's been an addition. There's either now being wild animals added to my dreams, or the snakes, or the bodies of water, or actual sangomas or idlozi things. Then you'll notice that actually I'm gifted in twofold. And good for you for the work that you've done and your ascension via church and being a priestess. You also have to supplement and balance your gifts also in the side of idlozi, because you don't want them to clash or to feel like you are choosing one over the other and one is more superior than the other. You don't want the struggle of having ancestors pull in two different directions and they're all pulling on you at the same time. It's going to deplete your energy. You're going to feel more drained than you would be feeling empowered to solve worldly and community issues around you. So that's important for you to do that. So I need you to speak to your ancestors and also speak to the God you serve about your other gifts and ask for the direction to show you exactly how it needs to manifest, for them to show you the pictures in your dreams of how you should look like, it looks like for you when you are then doing this work. What does it mean of a dream about rewriting matric? That speaks to prophecy, because that means there's something that you're not quite seeing properly in your dreams that's making you fail this. You're failing it. But now the beautiful thing about it is that you're going again. When you realize that you have to do it again, then you have to keep trying to do it again. You can't stop because you failed it the first time. And that's speaking to your relationship with your ancestors from a more of a prophetic background and perspective. So the thing that you need to be doing is thunywa. So read your Bible, read your literature, learn the hymns, learn the songs, go to spaces where they speak about God as well as ancestors jointly, and not that one cannot exist because of the other. Those are areas that are going to help you. Dream of two upside down tortoise on my msamo, and I have in my room Gogo. Clearly, there's two houses that you need to house from. You know how a tortoise, when it turns upside down, it's took by a sija, it becomes a bowl. So now you've got two of them, meaning there's one and two. They could be the same, similar, or vastly different. But there's two households that you need to take care of, two narratives that you need to be mindful of and take care of. So for the fact that it's upside down means that your world is upside down, means that there's no movement in both of them. Maybe because you're not recognizing them as individuals. But there's also certain things that you haven't done in your life that will help to supplement and guide and assist your ancestors to start this narration, because they obviously know what they already know where it's important, the important place in your house. So they obviously made it there. But you're not realizing the importance of being there. So it could speak to Amatolagini, very old people that find themselves, and your perhaps it's turned upside down. Maybe a pambaniselwa right now. I don't know what you're doing with your life right now. Maybe a pambaniselwa right now. That's why it's upside down. It's not finding its legs to be in motion, to actually carry on moving and transitioning. I don't think it's a dream that's more encouraging. It just means that bakhona, they exist. They want to be where you are, but mostly they're struggling with a communication with you guys. People are asking where is Gogo. I think they found me eventually. I'll just answer there anyway because I see the questions came in. More questions, guys. I think lockdown is gonna start what time? At 6, right? So I don't want to be here taking up a lot more of the network because there's many different places that different ones what people want to go to, and I'm glad that you guys can. But mostly, I would like to reiterate the most important things. I'm thankful for the conversation and for the questions, but I'm just gonna quickly recap on today's conversation about how the world is resetting, and so do we. We need to ground ourselves, we need to connect ourselves to the ground and the earth beneath us. We obviously can see there's a collective and there's a whole community of us gifted people by the timeline alone. In this chat, it's expressive of that. So you're never alone, you're never walking alone. There are people who are accessible, who make sure that they're accessible for you and for guidance, for your help. And I'm thankful for that. So I'd like for each and every one of you guys to take your callings and your journeys very seriously and realize that each of them influence each other differently. If you appreciated the live stream today, please like this chat, as well as if you want us to come back again on a different time, more on a weekly basis, maybe for an hour and not two like today, please like this chat. If you have shared this chat with other people, please like this chat. If you have commented, please like this chat. And if you are going to come back for more, please like this chat. And as the world heals itself, let's also find our healing. Let's respect the relationships that we keep with our families who are sharing homes with us, who are respecting us. May we respect them too. May we grow as a collective in the fraternity of Ubungoma. May we respect each other's beliefs and how different they are. May we come together to have a more global and bigger conversations about our belief systems in Africa. Can we go back to our own systems and healing ourselves and working through our own issues without having the world influence us and always dictating how we should find solutions for our lives? Can we look to what's already been laid down as a foundation for us? We're here as a collective. Can we learn to support each other? Can we learn to feed into each other's positivity? Can we spread positive messages on the timeline? Can we focus deeply on ourselves, mind our dreams, mind our languages, mind our visions, the different blessings that come into our lives? The affirmations are there. They're waiting for you to be mindful of them and to see them. If you want to have amazing skin like me, so say you in the comments. Futani bakoko na bomkhulu. It's amazing for your bodies. Your callings are resetting right now. They're starting all over again. Some are behind, some are ahead, some are during. But it's a time for us to act, and really give ourselves what is worth our attention. May we be open to understanding other people's struggles before we want to take away from them. May we respect the different rules set before us. The curve will subside if we all stay at home, if we all adhere to the rules. If you're struggling in terms of your calling and some of the practices that you used to do, going to rivers, collect rainwater, use that water, it's as natural as the rivers, and use them in your practices, in your rituals as well. Really humor yourself. If there's ever a time for you to, as isangoma, to learn more about ukuhlola umuntu, throw your bones, spend time with your tools, hlala endumbeni, learn about imithi yakho, go online and look for different solutions to some of the problems indumba yakho has been struggling with, and you've realized that ulogula payona all this time. Figure out if you have a speciality or not. And while you are at home right now, hone in on that time with yourself. Build a stronger relationship with your ancestors. Respect the role that you are sent to come play in your home, in your community, in the world at large. And really, really show up. Show up for yourself, because this is the one time that we are being given to really sit with ourselves and take stock of what we have, what we don't have in stock, what we don't have, what we need to learn about, and us to be true to ourselves. Remember, guys, if you can be able to say to someone, Gogo, I think this is the advice that you need, or maybe what you need to start influencing, what you need to start doing, because it takes one to see another. So get up off your couches, get into go into your private spaces, eat right, exercise, drink water, come up with those drafts, man, come up with those conversations, go online, spread the conversation, spread the messages around the Bungoma, speak passionately, or don't speak at all, and represent something. I feel like it was manje, because I'm getting all these chills from the top of my head that are affirming the moment that I'm in. And if you got touched in any way, form, or another during the stream, please hit the like button. And thank you so much for tuning in. One last thing, I didn't upload a video today. I wasn't really happy with how it came out. So I thought, let me rather come stream in its place for the video that was supposed to drop yesterday, Friday. It'll come up on Friday again because it's going to get re-edited, so it's going to need time. So that's why today I came in person to share me with you. And if you appreciate that and would like more of this, please hit the like button. I think you guys know, if you dig anything, just like the like button. And thank you so much, Gogo. More live streams, please. Thank you. And I'm not going to have them anywhere else. I'm always going to have them on YouTube, because I can collect them here and people can start looking and interacting with the channel a lot more. I can't have 17,000 people on my channel, but only have few people interact with me. That means there's a disconnect somewhere. So if there's things I need to change about what I talk about, how I address them, I'm more than happy to learn from you guys too, because I would like to make this environment as best as possible for you too. Your growth is mine, and I appreciate you. And please do come back on another day, and I'd love to host you. And that has been me, your host with the most, Gogo Moyo. Thokozani.